So right now, I think I want to be bullish to 50%, maybe this swing high here, and then I guess we'll be short again. I think lower time frame, we're just seeing a short-term retrace, and then we've hit so much sell side liquidity here. We tapped into the daily inefficiency. We filled that in, so I think we could see a reversal here, but obviously I'm not going to fade the higher time frame buys too heavily. So any positions today will most likely be lower size because we have so much movement to the downside here that we're shorting in premium. Shorting in discount, and then any longs are just counter trend. So, like, for example, if you longed off this CISD, I probably would have only risked like 3 micros on this. But here's your like SMR. This is the first time we've seen a high probability reversal today after dumping. Everything else was not as high probability because we never got like a true SMR. This isn't that clean. The momentum really isn't there. It doesn't really tell you that we're going to see a high probability reversal. So nothing will be worth taking since we expanded and took sell side. Not necessarily. We could see a long for sure. It would just be like smaller size, you know. I think right now we're going for 511 because this kind of lines up nicely with 50% of the 15-minute dealing range here. We'll also have lunch highs at 12:02 here. So if we really start to get going here, we could go for that. But volatility today has been very nice, so I imagine that'll probably present itself in a decent setup somewhere. Everyone banked today. I did not. I actually didn't get on for the morning session today because I had a dentist appointment. So I got on super late. But I did try this 5-minute long, and I just got break-evened on it. This one here. Fine. Yeah, no cavities. I'm in a long right now on eval off this SMR, but that's not really helpful for you guys. I'm going to try and sell everything, I think, when we get to 511. We could stall here at this last gap in the leg for sure. Yeah, Trade Boy, I think if you took that SMR with anything more than 3 micros, I would scale some at this last gap in the leg. Where would my stop be for this? Just if we close back below, like, for example, the 2-minute here or whatever. There's probably a 3-minute, yeah. I just marked out CE of the CISD and I placed my hard stop there. That's kind of the idea. I figured if we V-shaped with that much momentum, even though there wasn't really a good IFEG there, it would probably work if we got the SMR. So when we closed over here, I just took the retrace. Where did I go break even? When we reswept that high. So long here, and then we kind of put in a high on the 1-minute. And when we reswept this high, this is when I went break even at 11:44. Because realistically, we should have just popped up above that, and when we didn't, that was like a very bearish sign. Would you think the 30-minute if we get it? Yeah, it's too high of a time frame. I think the highest I've ever taken a trade on was the 15, but that's good to look at, this 30-minute. I don't think it really tells us anything about higher time frame buys necessarily, but we can keep an eye on, like, for example, this 3-minute gap here. I think if we violate that, we'll probably go for the equal highs next. But yeah, we're really starting to slow down in this 1 minute. I'd like to see price close through it. I think if we inverse this 1 minute, we'll obviously go for 50. What do I think of the 1 hour 590 unfilled gap as a target? Probably too high up, to be honest. I think we're probably just going to continue the bearish trend. We're just getting like a short-term retracement here. I'm hoping we just continue to grind up here towards 50. Probably 23 511 a soup. No, because we've swept out so much sell side already. I have no idea if this will be a soup. Yeah, for sure. Soups are really good when you're trying to anticipate the reversal. So if we get like a soup at around 10 a.m. or after our Judas swing or whatnot, if we're coming off of session liquidity, that's when you can really expect a soup to work. Also, if we're tapping into a higher time frame unfilled inefficiency, like for example that 4 hour that Ryan took, that's another good one. Us re-tapping into a 3-minute gap that's already been filled doesn't really, to me, seem like the best soup. But then again, we're also going to hit a 15-minute last gap in the leg, which, you know, might be decent. Okay, so that's really good there. This 1 minute closed over with a lot of momentum. I really like to see that. And so now it's just going to be for that 50% target. We're bearish finally. Let's go. I'm actually in a long right now, so that's awkward. From where? From the SMR. I'm in on eval. I didn't alert it because it's not the model, but it was the first SMR that we got after our dump, so I figured it'd be decent. I'm about to hit final TP on it. Yeah, there was no inversion, correct. That's why I just took the SMR there. You could have taken the 1 minute here, I guess, but yeah. I scaled eight contracts here just before the TP, and then I have my runner set at the high because this is a pretty obvious rejection block, so I don't want to get caught up before the high gets taken. Plus, we put in an SMT there, and I'm not really married to an extra 4 points. Okay, I'm all out there. So, a little bit before the TP there. I scaled like 2 points before. I'm cool with 40 points. Where do you set the stop loss if longing from an SMR? I just set it at 50% of the CISD. I had a really tight stop. I didn't really expect price to want to pull back past this 1 minute gap here. And if we started to violate that and started to violate the 3 minute, I just didn't want to be a part of that trade. So would I have taken anything this morning? Yeah, I like that short that you took, the 30-second short. I probably would have taken that as long as we had like session liquidity still below or a good sell side target. Which, yeah, we had the LRLR, so yeah, I would have taken that. And then what else? Oh yeah, I would have gotten break even on my runner. And then maybe this 1 minute short. This doesn't look horrible. I mean, if there's the SMT there, this is pretty good. I think I said the 2 and 3 minute were gonna fail though earlier. Yeah. I think it was what was it? It was like this entry, but the reason why is because I didn't know this was an SMT. I literally was on my phone. I wasn't on the charts. I just figured we had those relative equal highs on ES. You know, this just didn't seem like high probability, and this gap was holding. So I was like, okay, if we just come down here, this will probably just be a break even, but then it got wrecked. So that was cool. This to me was when I recognized that it was a bearish trend day. Also, there's the TP for the longs. And then, yeah, I mean, if you would have just like wanted to take an FU short here to run the rest of that liquidity, that's cool. So this is probably fine. And then all this is chop. All this is chop. I mean, I guess the 5 minute here is okay. This was kind of me just FOMOing a setup. Probably wasn't a good long, to be honest, because we didn't really get a true SMR here. And then everything else, there was no SMR. Shorts were probably too low. And then here, this SMR was probably decent. But yeah, okay, pretty good soup reaction there. I think if I took a soup, I would go break even, because that's like 10 points already. There's no reason why we should come up and resweep this high if we're not like bearish immediately off that. Somebody asked me about the soup. Did you end up taking it? No? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. To me, it's just not the most amazing soup in the world because, like, yes, we're in a bearish trend day, but, like, what is even your draw on liquidity here for the soup, you know? Like, what? Are we just going to continue to head lower here? Especially since, like, with this soup, you're fading 50%, I think. Like, I don't think we tapped 50 there. No, we didn't. I don't know. If Zilix, if the volatility gets good enough here, we could definitely see like something play out. I'm just waiting for something to pop up that's like textbook inverse, right? That'll probably end up being a continuation play, but I'm probably going to be looking at longs. What's going on, Morik? But yeah, I'll post my little trade ski. I don't even think I took any drawdown on it. Okay, Morik, sounds good. Hey, it's cool though, because right now, I think I saw you in AM, right? So now you get to rock your PM like nameplate without having to, you know, switch it up for the AM, the green one. Just put in a 4 minute CISD. Yes. Yeah, but I think the CISD you'd probably want to use here is just the 1 minute one. So the 4 minute time frame doesn't really manipulate down and sweep into anything, if that makes sense. The 1 minute kind of has an obvious manipulation here. We get our soup, right? The 4 minute doesn't really have a turtle soup, so it's not really an SMR. J, everyone did. This was like before PM, so don't even stress about it. This is just something I was taking. It's not even the model, so like we have, remember, like for an SMR, it has to be a turtle soup first, and then a CISD and a breaker block, and then a 2022 and or an inversion, right? So here we have our 2022, right? So this was kind of the trade idea. It just happened, I guess, a little bit before the breaker was confirmed. But technically, we already got our CISD when we closed over this OB here, right? And then we got our breaker after. But overall, like seeing price V-shape back up gave us a market structure shift as well. So we have our turtle soup, CISD, breaker, market structure shift, 2022. That's kind of the idea. Like the leg should be a manipulation leg that's being inverted for a CISD. Yeah, vert. And for this 4 minute here, it's also just not a turtle soup. So this isn't even like a true SMR, right? A turtle soup is going to be one where we, come down and go right back up, right? Like you can see this 2 minute is clearly a turtle soup. Yeah, because we displaced past the low, exactly. So like here's that low where you'd expect to see a 4 minute SMR, and we come down and we run everything, and then if you look to the left here all the way, there's not really a spot that we soup here on the 4 minute time frame. So it's just not even really a valid 4 minute SMR. It's just like a 4 minute CISD, but there's no soup. Here there's a soup. You can clearly see this is very soup-like. If you just go up a time frame, you can see we don't even close below the low there. But yeah, it kind of sniped the sell there. That TP. I mean, it made sense. Tapping into that 15-minute unfilled gap. So we're looking for bearish continuation. I'm looking for A+ setups. This 30-second looks kind of crazy. We tapped into a 5-minute and a... That's it. Yeah, this 30-second looks like AMD. I would rate this A- because you're longing in premium of the lower time frame dealing range. And I believe we're going to create some inefficiencies below here, but I really like that reaction. If we hit this high, it's invalid. Kind of like how we're generating highs here too. What do we think? Is this good enough to take? Nope, never mind. Doesn't matter. I kind of liked it. It looked pretty V-shaped coming off that 5-minute, but then it just immediately went back down. I think the better setup will come from lower, but I also don't like the idea of targeting a high that just swept out another high. This is definitely a protected high now on the 5-minute, or it's about to be. So, protected high. We need to come down and rerun out sell side. So maybe the best play here is going to come from retagging this low and then getting a long. Yeah, I think we need to come down and sweep out sell side. Even if we come down and we tag out PM low, that's fine. Benja, usually because whenever we target a protected high without sweeping out sell side, the play just will lose or the delivery just won't be very clean. The idea is price likes to go from internal liquidity to external liquidity. So when we sweep out internal liquidity and we create a very bearish reaction, price then is kind of tilting its hand to us and telling us that it wants to go for external. Now, I'm not married to that idea necessarily because we've dumped so much today and we're so deep in discount on the higher time frame that we could see like shorter term scalps, back up. But yeah, in normal market conditions, a protected high will usually cause price to go
Guess what?
back towards external liquidity or whatnot.
Guess what?
Sorry, my headphones were off. What's going on, man?
Yo, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt. I got him.
Oh shit!
I
Got.
got him. Dude, how do you fall for that?
I'm already done for the day.
Really? What did you take?
The
Hindsight play?
the CISD.
You probably learned it when it was already in a safe position, right?
Yeah.
It was already safe when you learned it, right?
Yep.
Dude, did you see that on my Google survey feedback form?
I did, dude.
Bro, I had to stream started dying after I read that.
Yeah, dude. Biggest hindsight trader I know, man.
Oh my god, bro.
I'm bullish right now. Lower time frame.
I'm bearish. Oh, lower time frame, yeah. For like a retracement.
Yep.
Higher time frame still bearish in my opinion.
Yeah, we probably got to go run out like 22.5 or something like that. I mean, if we respect this daily gap here, this could just be like, short-term pullback right back to the highs.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, I was thinking about something. You know how you put money into UNH?
Yeah.
This is kind of my prediction for UNH. We chop around for 2 years around the 300s, and NVIDIA goes up another 20 or 30% in that time. And we could have just made money putting money into NVIDIA versus trying to long UNH. And then maybe in 5 years from now, UNH goes back to its all-time
UNH
highs.
is for 10 years or more. UNH is for when I have grandkids, bro.
When you have grandkids? You're going to have grandkids in 10 years?
No. But you get what I mean.
I thought you were scalping UNH. No, I'm not scalping UNH. I'm in it long term, and I think I'm gonna try and go break even when we hit 325.
Dude, UNH is just like the yearly chart looks so good.
Yeah.
Like it went to all time highs, pulled back to the 50%. Like, dude, it looks insane.
I kind of like this. Generating these highs here. Two scenarios in my mind right now. We got the long here after sweeping out PM low, taking that last gap in the leg, or we got the long from the lows again. And the target will just be 50% and then maybe higher if we start to violate that 15 or 30-minute gap.
Yep. Exactly what I was going to say.
Type shit.
Wait, what's the chart doing right now?
We're kind of reacting to the daily being filled in, and we got a nice little smart money reversal at the low.
All right, well, good luck.
All right, man.
Oh, I think October 23rd through November 7th.
23rd through
Like,
the 7th.
I want to stream, but I don't know if, like, I'm going to stream as much as I can, but, like, if I'm at dinner, then I'm not going to be able to stream, or if I'm, like, out at a club at night, I can't stream.
Sure.
We'll see what happens.
I'll support the cause on one
But I was
condition.
like, what?
The condition is you got to come back with a Japanese girl.
Okay, I could probably make that happen. What if it? Okay, okay. Listen, listen. What if somehow I was at dinner and I'm eating, and all of a sudden like, is there, and then she wants me, and then I come back with her account.
Yeah, sure.
Does that count?
Yeah,
That
sure.
counts.
You just got to come back,
Okay, okay.
cuffed up. It's cuffing season, right?
Yeah, dude. I'm messaging a girl on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 30-second here, but 1 minute never inversed.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you later.
All right, see ya. Wow. So I have to hang out with you guys for 2 weeks, dude. At this point, just I should just have AM. I mean, I've been covering. It feels like a week out of every month for the last 9 months. Nah, I'm just playing. Nah, for real, Sween. I'm running a charity out here. 1 minute maybe. We left equal lows, and they're decent. So obviously not really a long I'm interested in. That close is way too high, also. But cool, cool, cool. Looks like we're gonna keep going up here. 23,483. If this hits, give you 1 month of PM. Well, considering that's my target, probably not. Maybe if you would have like faded me or something. Short this daily inverse on ES that's forming. Let's take a look. Hey, UNH kind of had a little bounce back. Okay. Okay, my position isn't totally cooked. Short the daily inverse. Ooh, yo, Loki. Nah, you don't want to short at all-time highs, right? But yeah, it looks decent. So this 30-second long ended up working despite the equal lows below there. So obviously that would be break even for that. We're going to get an hourly gap in 2 minutes here. This was during the macro. It's already been 30 minutes. I can't even believe it. Okay, so there's the high. Maybe we'll close this 1 hour gap here. Oh yeah, wow, we are. Well, we might inverse the 15-minute too if it gets up there in the next minute. Wow, this is kind of nice. Okay, so 1 hour got closed. 50% got tapped like I wanted. Now I have no idea. I guess we will see. Why did the 1 minute fail at the 146 short? Why did it fail? It would have been, I think, well, I guess because we made equal lows, you wouldn't go to break even, but it failed because we're so deep in discount on the higher time frame. We do have an SMT at this high. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. We might get a 2 minute short here. To the equal lows, to PM low. Okay, yeah, I like this. I like this, actually. This This isn't horrible. That VI though? Okay, we'll include it. We'll probably include it here too because of the 1 minute. But yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, what do we think about this 2 minute? We have equal lows, PM low, the unfilled 5 minute below. We're bearish. We never inverse the 15 here. Had a pretty bearish super reaction to it. Not really any roadblocks. SMT. Macro. Aligns with higher time frame bias. It's just deep in discount. It's an A setup in my opinion. So 1 minute didn't trigger there. Looks like we gotta wait for the 2. Not a significant gap, that's true. But if we get a good V shape off of it and we're reacting off a higher time frame inverse, or not higher time frame inverse, just higher time frame PD rate's good. Kind of starting to sell off here. It's really, really low, like a risk as well. If we hit the low first, that would be unfortunate. So idea for the play here, is this an eval trade? No, this is a funded play if we get it. Idea here would just be to get in this, go break even at the equal lows. Looks like it's actually going to hit the equal lows first, so invalid. Damn, bro. I guess I should have gotten in that early with the momentum, but I've seen too many times, like recently, where we'll look like we're going to close below with 30 seconds left, and then we just don't. But yeah, that would have been the play. I really liked it. That we'd already be break even, and we would be targeting ideally 1-to-1, but probably PM low there is the first TP. Did anybody just get in early there? 1? Okay, cool. So yeah, you should be break even, I believe, at this point, because low inside of a gap. And target, I guess, depending on where you got in, the PM low there is first TP. Yeah, that was perfect. What a shame. So here is a good 1 minute SMR, right? So if we're going to come back here, there's first TP. Or you could wait till 50. I didn't see that. So we got 50% back down of this dealing range. I mean, I like this because it's PM low. But 50% is right there. So, okay, boom, cool. So that's smacked, and then another TP here is this low inside the 1 minute, and then final TP would just be the low there. Wow, dude, this was literally the play. Why didn't we get a good close? I'm glad some of you guys got in early. That's awesome. But yeah, that couldn't have been like better structure-wise. Obviously, you know, as far as how low we are, it could have been better, right? If we were higher up, but structure-wise, that's perfect. This is what you want to see for a good inverse. Yeah, SMR there was good if you jumped in the retrace, and then you could have taken profit there. So there's another TP. Yeah, cool. And then final TP will just be low, the lows. This was really good risk reward too, like 5R. If we respect this low inside the gap here and come back up, because we, oh no, we made equal lows with ES, so I think we need to continue to head lower here, probably to sweep out that low. If we would have gotten the SMT there, that would have been nice maybe to see price come back up. But that was probably the play of the session. What a shame. 30-second wasn't valid. Yeah, that was cool. So a telltale sign that we're going to continue to head lower is usually when price blasts through 50% of a dealing range. And so that's what we're getting right now. That's kind of like your confirmation that we'll complete the market maker sell model on one indice. At least one indice, if not both. Robbie, you got green? Nice. I think I saw your message, Robbie. I have to still respond to that. My bad. I've just gotten a lot of DMs and I've been behind on everything. I think you messaged me over the weekend, and I got caught up. But I'll make sure to get that done today. My bad. Yeah, I'll message you so it goes to the top. I have a few people actually I have to message back today, so I'll get all that done. No problem. Not going anywhere. Awesome. 2-minute BPR entry. I wouldn't enter off the BPR here. No, you should already be in. Crypto, you didn't want to scale at the high here, or at least that's what I took full profit there, because I took that same trade as you actually. Oh, you only had one micro? Gotcha, okay. So still no SMT. Getting a retrace maybe to this unfilled 3-minute gap. Looks like Vert's going to get break even on his SMR entry. There's 50. Oh. Why is price frozen? Does anybody else have their chart frozen? Okay, well, that was weird.
Do you think daily inverse gonna cause NQ to move much?
GG the paper. Oh, I didn't realize you took that on paper. Okay. We might see a long here. This is very, very bullish. I really think we should respect this OB plus the FEG here, though. And so, like, theoretically, you could enter off the OB and just stop loss if we inverse the gap to come back to the low, maybe. Obviously, I don't know the win rate on an entry model like this, but I feel like that makes sense. So if you see a high, a low, a higher high, then a lower low, then on ITL, more than likely be a bearish SMR. Like, what is that pattern? Wait, I'm confused. Okay, draw out what you're talking about on a chart. But yeah, no bullish SMT there. We didn't sweep the low. It doesn't look like. Wow. I mean, okay, if we get this back up, that's kind of crazy, right? Like, this would probably be a good long, no? To unfilled hourly. Yeah, 589, I guess. Wow, okay, this thing is just moving. I feel like I have to take it, right? The 3-minute is probably better here because it's singular. You just have to wait a very long time. So I'd wait for the 2 and 3-minute here just because it goes against the bias. Okay, so no 2-minute there. Yeah, I mean, I have to take this play if we get it.
Guys.
Guys, we're taking this.
Light bulb, maybe. Depending on the close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 minute definitely looks the best.
Yeah.
All right, well, if we get it, manage your risk. If we don't, then move on. Goodbye.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so we never close above. Tap back to this 2 minute. Don't take an SMT with UNH. Oh, darn. Oh, no. What about 3 minute gap above? Not merging them? There's not a 3 minute gap above. I wouldn't combine this. I would just use this one here. Okay. Okay, cool. So this makes sense. What this rejecting instead of getting the inverse makes more sense in my mind. I think we just want to re-attack those lows. Maybe get an SMT first. We just got really close to inversing it. I mean, if we come up and inverse it, I guess, but now it's not V-shape. Seeing price re-attack the lows here in my mind makes more sense. There's a 30-second, but internal versus... Yeah, I'd wait for the external here for sure. Because you're kind of playing counter trend right now on the higher time frame. All right, if we respect this 2 minute, that's a good sign for bullish order flow here on the lower time frame. Okay, so okay. See a higher high than a lower low, then it'll more than likely be a bearish SMR. That's not usually how I see like a good SMR. Like that to me isn't a good one. Like an SMR is gonna form after we tap into some. Like when you're expecting like a reversal, like there that just seems like seek and destroy, I guess. 2 minutes short, yes, this is a 2 minute confirmation setup back to the lows here. If you want to try that, you can. I would rate it probably a B plus setup because we don't get a liquidity sweep here. But yeah, I mean, it goes along with the bias. This is worse than the one before for sure. This was A or A plus. This is B plus B. So only eval? Yeah, you could eval this probably. ES equal lows here are probably a good draw. But yeah, no, the idea here would just be, okay, we're kind of putting in bearish structure, so it kind of makes more sense to go down. But with a breaker, doesn't a CISD just come with it? No, a CISD does not always come with a breaker. For example, we had this 1 minute CISD here that didn't have a breaker. I mean, I guess we had like one here, but I wouldn't use that. That's not a good breaker. When you are doing AM for 2 weeks, will it be open for us? Yeah, I'll open it up for a few days for PM. Maybe not every day, but maybe I'll open it up for like Halloween. I'll do like a free stream on Halloween. That sounds like a fun idea. Yeah, that'll be a Friday. And then we'll have NFP that Monday. Or not that Monday, but the next Friday. Oh yeah, no, for Halloween we'll get into it. Maybe I'll do a face cam and a costume, and we'll have chart colors that are more Halloweeny. Throw up some decor in the background. I could wear like a Jason mask. Also, there's the 2 minute. Dress as a girl like Dodgy. Yeah, maybe if I paid like $2,500 to go on a retreat, I would do that. Yeah, no, my girlfriend would get really into it too. She would like probably help me decorate. All right, come on, 2 minute. Take us to the low. Dress up as an IFEG? Nah, I'll dress up as a um, price coming within 1 tick of your TP and reversing back to your break even, because that's actually scary. How am I going to articulate that into a costume? Good question. By the way, how many of you guys are in this short right now? Okay. Guys, is this short safe? Am I okay to say that my stance on this trade? This short is mid. It's mid, but it's like an FU short. Like it's probably gonna work every time. Okay, I'm in now. Okay, trade boy. Oh god. Hey, do what you gotta do. I actually think this entry was probably valid off the OB, the breaker, and the 2022. I don't hate it. I thought it was pretty good there. If it stopped, it would be a really good opportunity to reverse position too. So, if you took that, like, that was cool. We're getting a lot looser with the being strict to the IFG model lately. I have no idea, Vert. I don't think anyone will know because he only posts his winners, so. Have I ever tried top ticking? Yeah, whenever I try and take a soup play, I'll try and top tick. I've top ticked a lot of exits, but entries are more difficult for sure. You guys take anything? We were gonna take this 2 minute short, but then it ended up becoming invalid. A couple people got in early, and then they got scales out of it before break evening. Wait, how many of you guys are green off of PM session right now? Interesting. Took nothing. Yeah, off of PM. Not off of a trade, but just like you took like this, you know, like there's I obviously haven't alerted anything. Other than I guess this 2 minute I said was 100% win rate. Is that an alert? I don't know. Oh no, yeah, just for today, just this session. The 50 minutes so far. Good, Natik, how are you? Did you like the short from AM? Or did you as well wait for the sweep? What short? What time? What? There was a few, right? I thought this 30-second was nice. This 3 minute was alright too with the SMT. You took a vert call out in the AM? What did vert call out? Call out nothing. The one with the SMT, yeah, that's fine. That's a fine short because when we get the OB, that's kind of like your confirmation, right? Break even here, TP at the low. That's how I would do it. I would take full profit there. I wouldn't have held for all that. The OB in the gap, yeah, this order block here, 1018. Well, it's actually a prop block because here's your original order block here. Order block off an order block. Yeah, no, Natik, I would. Hey, man, do what you got to do to get profitable. That's what I care about at the end of the day. It's been a difficult month for sure, but if you've been having longer term issues with it, then yeah, do what you got to do, man. Damn, okay. What, just like a rejection block play? For sure, for sure. Okay. Cool. JM Hawk, to be fair, I have seen like numerous mentorship students get payouts, you know, either within their time of the mentorship or shortly after they were in the mentorship. So I think it's still a great, you know, service. We all get to hang out and, you know, we get to journal review on Saturday together. That's kind of my contribution to the mentorship and obviously, you know, PM. But yeah, you know, sometimes some strategies don't work for specific people just based off of, you know, psychological components or, you know, maybe the model just straight up doesn't work for them. And that's totally cool, right? But don't get into a mindset of like strategy hopping for every new shiny object, right? Because each time you switch strategy, you have to back test it. You have to put in the time, understanding the entry model and figuring out, you know, what works for you as far as like how you execute, where you go to break even, etc. Right? And that takes time. That takes data collection. You know, time away from, you know, you becoming profitable, right? And at the end of the day, the strategy or the entry model you choose isn't necessarily what makes you profitable. It's all the other pieces of trading. And that's how I've always preached it, right? You can take whatever entry model you want, um, but understanding, obviously, like Dodgy says, liquidity and understanding overall order flow and structure are going to benefit you way more than just trying to find an entry model that works for you on a given day, you know? So I'm glad, Natik, that you found something that you're able to be successful with. Why wouldn't we have waited on a sweep on that short? Or how can I tell that the SMT works? Oh, well, the SMT is the sweep itself, right? So you don't really have to wait for a sweep whenever we get a obvious SMT, like the one that we had earlier. And the reason why you can have confidence in this trade working is because we were putting in bearish PD rays and disrespecting bullish ones. So what that tells you is order flow is switching bearish, right? Yeah, so Kier, I'm not sure how much the mentorship is exactly, but the mentorship is essentially a course plus access to Dodgy whenever you need, right? Going over questions, whatever, and then there's journal review where you'll put all your trades in your journal, and then usually Saturday morning we'll sit down and either it's me or Dodgy, and we'll just sit there and kind of review trades all together for the week. It's kind of like a personalized, review type thing. And then, yeah, after those 12 weeks, we've gone through the course. You've kind of learned the ins and outs of the model, ICT, whatever. We've talked about psychology, etc. You get access to everything that's included in the Discord for life. So the AM and PM stream and whatnot. So I think if I was in this short right now on the 2 minute, I would go to break even if we put in this OB here. I don't think it makes sense to come back to the entry before hitting the low. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, the mentorship itself is like its own community, but I felt like that was self-explanatory, Natik, for sure. You trade only IFG model? Yeah, yeah, for the most part. But I've been, leaning into a few more strategies lately. Just, I've kind of mastered the IFG model, and so if I can find opportunities to take trades where the IFG model doesn't necessarily present itself, for example, with this SMR trade, then I'd like to do that because I don't want to miss out on opportunity if, there is one present, right? But yeah, this is pretty bad PA. We have 1 minute till the next 15-minute candle. Hopefully, when that opens, we just use that to send price to the low there. Can I explain the SMR model? There's not really a model to it, but I can explain what an SMR is. An SMR is just a smart money reversal where we get a sweep of a low, a turtle soup, a CISD, which I already have it marked, a breaker block. Okay, so a breaker block is either a series of down close candles or a singular down close candle that gets, or I guess up close candles that gets inversed, right? So creating your OB, and then that getting inverse back to the upside. So an OB that gets inversed is your breaker. So here's your breaker. And then the entry model for it can just be a 2022 entry or tapping of the CISD or an inverse. In this scenario here, we had a 2022. It printed before the breaker got put in. But yeah, you could have just entered once the CISD and breaker got put in and then entered off the retrace there. So that's kind of how I took it. And then I had my stop as a manual close back below the 3 minute here with a hard stop at the low. And I was also looking at CE of the CISD, those bodies there. to be respected, which kind of lined up nicely with that 3 minute getting closed below. So that was kind of the idea for the stop, as well as this 1 minute. If this 1 minute would have closed below, that would have been very, very bad. So essentially, my stop loss was just based off of an order flow switch to the downside again. If order flow would have switched to the downside, that's when I would have been stopped out. And then if we would have gotten like a Trump candle or something where we would have wicked out the low there, then that's what the hard stop is for. I'm happy with props right now, Kier. 125 happened to be an SMR, correct? Yeah, exactly. That's what I took, Murmur. This was also a 1 minute SMR entry. You can see here the idea is, or it's 2 minute actually, but the 2 minute SMR here, you take the entry off the CISD, and then you have your stop loss if order flow switches back to the upside here, right? So if the 2 minute closes above, clearly we don't. So this would be like a winning SMR trade right now that you'd just be break even at. Maybe you took a scale or whatnot. Looks like maybe this 2 minute would have been break even. Maybe you got saved by a tick, but you want to see CE of this hold. Maybe we came back up here to tap into some, yeah, we had an unfilled, I guess, tiny little 30-second here. I feel like this will be a good stop for break even, because if price starts to violate this back to the upside, it'll probably get stopped out that 2 minute entry anyway. Do I always have to take mechanical A+ setups? For example, in the same session, the 2 to 3 minute short was an A+. No, you don't always have to take mechanical A+ setups. If we go back to this idea of bias, momentum, time, model, model is the least important of the four. And so as long as you have a setup that has bias, momentum, and time, you don't need your model. Your entry model, you can kind of get away with taking a lower quality setup if it's not A+. Technically, this morning setup would be A+ because the SMT acts as your liquidity sweep. Maybe it's not A+ because of the momentum, but this is decent. So here you're outside the macro, so I guess this would just be A. But I like the I just like the structure here. That's what kind of tells you that it's going to be a good short. Like if we take all this away, right, we get to like here. Like we're kind of, we're missing highs. We're creating SMTs. We're not seeing a true 10 a.m. reversal really, where we come off the low, and then this is our Judas swing, and then we just V-shape back up. We're missing highs. So when we're missing highs here, and we're starting to disrespect bullish PD arrays that are significant, that's like your telltale sign that okay, maybe the Judas swing isn't going to work today, and we're actually going to be maybe in a bearish scenario. And so then you see this play out and you're like, oh wow, okay, we have a decent inverse here. It's coming off an SMT, a good break even, and then it just plays out. But it's all kind of hindsight, right? If I saw this in lifetime, we could talk about it in a more realistic way. But yeah, I was on my phone, Swig. I didn't know that was an SMT, so that was probably not the right call. I figured we needed the liquidity sweep there, but because the SMT there, you don't need it. So we just barely missed the low there, both on ES and Q, so I would just give it like another candle, and it'll probably hit here. What's considered as time? The macro. So if we're in the macro, that's time. Yeah, bias is just order flow plus draw and liquidity, right? So what you want to do whenever you're trying to establish bias is figure out if the higher time frame and lower time frame order flow are aligned, and then if they are aligned, you try and take a trade that has a good draw on liquidity that aligns with that order flow. So, for example, this morning, when you notice that order flow in the lower time frame and the higher time frame is bearish, you align that bearish order flow with, like, for example, this LRLR here, and you target this as your draw, right? That's how you figure out bias. Nice, Natik. By the way, if you're in a short right now, I'd be all out at this low. Okay. So there it is. The reason why is because we have a bullish SMT here, and that was PM low. Oh, actually, we did just break the 3 minute to the downside, so maybe this goes lower. But to me, it doesn't really matter. It's like, what, another 15 points? I mean, maybe your runner gets to there. You're holding this to the swing? For sure, for sure. Can you say either we need a sweep or an obvious SMT? Yeah, for the IFEG model, yeah. So we're not really getting a bullish reaction here to the low being swept. Maybe it'll take a second. We could see another, maybe SMR get put in on the 3 minute. Yeah, the 2 minute short there hit TP, so that was cool. I kind of said when we put in this OB that if we violated CE, that would be a bad sign, and we never did. And then I figured that the entry would be safe, but it just got top ticked out, which is so unfortunate. Maybe if you got a better entry there, that didn't happen. But yeah, the body's held, so that's really what tells the story. So that makes sense why we came down. And now this isn't really telling me that we're getting a bullish reaction after sleeping PM low here. So we might just go all the way back for low of day. And then if we go back to low of day. So backtesting isn't what I would say is what gives you mastery. I would say screen time is what gives you mastery. What made me proficient in understanding the model prior to trading on like accounts that I cared about was probably backtesting it for, I don't know, 2 months, 20 sessions a month. And then in each of those sessions, probably backtesting a month's worth of data. So in total, over time, that's, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years of backtesting data. And then, you know, you get a lot of, I guess, like, practice, you know, with just like recognizing the model. Nice Laxman. Oh, wow. Okay, so you're going for a big move here. 150 points. What is that? I don't know necessarily Laxman if that's going to hit. But if that's just a paper account, then, who cares? Okay, this is a decent candle. We're kind of coming up on 250 here. Hourly draw on liquidity. This low. 328. That makes sense. Yeah, that's where the sell model would complete, so not a horrible idea. I just don't know if that's going to get to the sell model will complete before we get a retrace. This is what happens though. We get a pretty good PM session when volatility is up. Like, this was good. This was good. I don't think have I said any losing play so far? Like, have I talked about a losing play yet? Yeah, I think everything that I said, I liked, ended up working. So, I mean, that's good. No for once. True, Bomble. True. Yeah, normally if I say I like something, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a winning play. The only time that it's usually a winning play is when, I'm in. Um, and I say I'm in. Do you easily recognize SMT simply by your trained eye? Yeah, I just pay attention to whenever we're getting close to like important highs and lows, and then I notice that if NQ and ES are uncorrelated, prior to hitting those lows, that it'll most likely be an SMT. So for example, here, I noticed that when ES came down and made its equal low here, this low was put in an NQ, so there's slight uncorrelation there. So I know that if we were to come down and resweep this low, we'd most likely get an SMT. Does that make sense? FX Replay is a paid backtesting software. I believe it's like $400. All right, Laxman. Have a nice lift. What about that 30-second short 944? This isn't light bulb IFG because the IFG is too small, and you and Josh said it was a good play, but it isn't a bit too small. Yes, but remember the thing that makes a play convincing usually is when we have good momentum and it aligns with bias. So when you see kind of price move down 13 points in 30 seconds, and we inverse a fair value gap that has an OB and an FEG, and the reaction that we're getting is off of 50% of the dealing range, or off of premium of the dealing range, that's usually a good sign to take a short, right? So it's not necessarily about the size of the gap, it's about the motion of the ocean, right? The S&T sold you? Yeah, true, that too. That's actually probably the best way to do it, or the best analogy that I have for it. It's not about the size of the gap. It's about the motion of the chart. That's the manipulation to need to take the significant gap. Yeah. You're gonna have that framed? Alright. So because we're coming down and we've kind of reswept this low and we've created relative equal lows with this low again, I think I'm gonna need to see this swept before I get like interested in longs. All right. When you were checking your bias for the day, what are the top 3 to 5 things did you look at, and on what time frames for each? And approximately how long does it take for you to determine your daily bias? Daily bias takes me maximum 2 minutes. I feel like we're just gonna keep dumping to hell. Yeah, just press the sell button. Don't tell me we're creating sell side LR. No, we're not. I don't think so. I mean, unless. I mean, what are we talking about here? I don't really see anything. But yeah, basically this is how you get your daily bias in like 2 minutes. It's order flow plus draw. We just talked about it earlier, right? So all you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking, starting at like the 4-hour daily time frame. You're going to be looking at what PDRAs in the higher time frame are being respected, which ones are being disrespected. This morning, you could see that price was disrespecting everything to the left here over the last few days. We were starting to violate. Remember that 15-minute gap that I said was important? Well, that got wrecked overnight. And so when this gap got wrecked here, right at open, that was your sign that, oh, okay, we're bearish, right? This gap's significant and held historically for a good period of time. And so when you saw that get broken, that was your sign that, okay, order flow is now bearish. So I'm going to align my bias and my draw with that order flow. So if we look for a draw, we can see here that there are these relative, or this LRLR here on the higher time frame. And so that's what I would kind of use to target, you know, for our draw, right? You can even like look at that. And then when you see price starting to speed up here and we get that extra volatility, that's when you kind of, you know, expand out your idea of where price is going for the day or maybe for the week. And you say, okay, if we look at structure on the higher time frame here, this kind of looks like a market maker model on the daily or the 4-hour or whatever. Maybe it makes sense to come down to this low to complete it, right? And that's kind of how you can frame your bias. But at the end of the day, bias isn't something that you necessarily even need to have, right? What matters more is draw and liquidity, right? So forever I've said you have to frame your trade with a bias, right? That's true. Every single entry needs to follow order flow and a draw. But at the end of the day, as long as you like are targeting your draw, bias can switch all throughout the session. But then once that your target gets hit, you know, Dodgy talks about this a lot. That's when you get off the charts, right? Because that draw has been hit, you know, the draw on the day. And once that target gets hit, normally price tends to become choppier or not as clean or high probability, right? And the reason why is because we talk about with different, I guess, like models that we use, whether that's the market maker model or AMD. Usually after we see distribution or the market maker model completing, we'll usually follow that up with accumulation. And so that's why we would kind of want to, you know, take a step back from the charts after our target's been hit. This will happen a lot in PM too. We'll have a target that you know, we form during AM sessions for PM. And once we sweep that target for PM, PM tends to, you know, kind of get way choppier. Maybe our target for today was the 15-minute high here, and that's why we've just been slowly grinding down ever since. What else? But yeah, essentially, if you just keep in mind, you find your obvious draw on liquidity, which if you remember back from Dodge's liquidity class, the way you can do that is either by combining draws on liquidity or, you know, just taking or looking at the most obvious one. And you're pairing that with, you know, the higher time frame and lower time frame order flow, you're going to be in good shape every time. We have a 30-second inverse here, kind of. When you saw that gap get wrecked, you were like, OMG, right? So, like, Zilix, was that like a light bulb for you when you saw that? You were like, okay, we were watching this 15-minute ever since yesterday's PM session or whatever. This has been respected quite a bit. You see that get wrecked, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, order flow is bearish now. This was a significant gap. Was that 1408 30-second a good short? Not 1408 necessarily, but like the 2-minute, yeah. I said it was a decent eval play. For sure, Zilix. Yeah, that's fine. As long as we were continuing to respect that 15-minute there, longs were valid as long as we had, you know, lower time frame order flow aligned. But as soon as that gap gets broken, that's when you have to switch. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. Okay, so this looks pretty decent, right? We're moving up here with some momentum. Do we have like a good... The 3-minute SMR here is probably the best. So yeah, we can watch this. We're in the macro. Nice, Natik. Yeah, so now if we look at price, we have this situation now where we're neutral on the higher time frame until we violate the daily or we start to inverse. I guess what gap do you guys think would be like our gap that is kind of, you know, holding price down, that's kind of telling our order flow right now in the higher time frame? $467, 15-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. I think it probably is this 30-minute. It might not be a good enough gap, right, as far as time frame alignment goes. So we might need to go up to like the 1 hour or 4 hour here when we put this in. But for right now, I think it's this 30-minute. So once we inverse this 30-minute to the upside, I'd probably be looking for, like, you know, this high here for lunch high, and then, you know, maybe beyond that, depending on if the 4 hour gets inversed. So that would kind of be my idea. So we came down here, tapped into that 30-second. We kind of have a 15-second here. This obviously isn't one I would necessarily take, but we want to see this get inversed, and we want to put in this 1 minute OB so we can get the 3-minute SMR. We only have 3 more days left of the starter plus accounts for MFFU. I'm going to check with them today. I'm going to ask in the Discord to see if the other accounts are going as well. Are they replacing? Yeah, they're replacing it with a different account. They released them a few weeks ago now. It's the core, the scale, and the one other plan. Okay, so yeah, I just checked with the mod. It's all legacy accounts. So if you guys want to buy any legacy accounts, whether that's the starter or the expert or whatever, all those accounts will be gone on the 22nd. That'll be your last opportunity to buy it. Is it because you keep getting paid? Yeah, that's the reason why. Nah, it's probably just because they want to make more money. So you need to pass this last starter. Once you bought the accounts, I believe they'll just stay in your profile indefinitely as long as you keep renewing it, but you can't buy any more after the 22nd. I think the core and scale accounts are fine, especially the 50K options, because you can copy trade 5 accounts, but obviously the legacy accounts are better. So if you want to take advantage of those before they're completely gone, just make sure to do that, I guess, before the end of the 22nd. Depending on you know, if I get pushed to live or whatever off these accounts or not. I can't renew it, but if you pass, you can use it. I believe as long as you purchase the account, the subscription will just stay for as long as the account renewal is. So bearish. Is that our footprint chart? Yeah, for sure. I'll repost it if you make that. Oh wait, Instagram? Maybe I won't repost it, but I'll tell Dodgy to. Core is cheaper than starter, exactly. No, no, Ed, you can tag him. If he gets mad, just redirect it towards me. Tell him that I said it was okay. Okay, so yeah, we're just bearish. Press the sell button. Yo, I don't know. Who was that? Laxman? Who's short right now? Laxman's about to be rich. Rich beyond his wildest dreams. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're about to dump another 100 points. More, can't those buy orders just be spoofed though? All right, I'm gonna get Wordle in 2 again today, real quick, because that was crazy. Okay, we actually have a chance. Do Rocky. I don't know why I'm feeling Rocky. Ooh, ooh! I thought I had it. Wait, why did we get the Y though? Okay. This is weird. Yeah, Rowdy. Yeah, get it done in 3. Wow. Let's go. Good job, Tom. Dude, Laxman's actually about to print. Please tell me that's like a funded. I'm like totally sold on this idea now. Alright, Whale. Where was our alert? You go short now. Is that the play? No. You should already be in the classic. You should already be in. 4-hour close is super bearish. True. Yeah. All right, trade boy. We'll catch you tomorrow. I mean, I'm happy today. I'm up. I'm green. Whenever I see these days of big expansion, like I feel like I should be up more, but like, I don't know. I caught my piece of the pie, I guess. I think I did that wrong. There we go. For sure, for sure. Low key, 0 day till expiry contracts will probably print. Like put contracts. Oh yeah. There's not really a good one though. I think the actually the IV's not horrible. Maybe 568s here at $50 a piece. That seems like really risky though. $50 in the last hour of the day for those. I feel like normally they're cheaper, but I guess we are almost in the money on them, so I guess that makes sense. I bet you 568s double, if not triple, in the last hour here. Like you, even if you got them in at like 0.4 here, 0.5, like anywhere in there, I feel like they'd go for $100 by the end of the day. I wish I had money in my options account. I'd probably take this. We kind of are uncorrelated right now. ES and NQ are not doing the same thing at all. We're making higher highs on ES. So that's not the most amazing sign. But then again, it'll probably clean up at 315 here. So I think that's what I would do. If I had money in my options account, I'd wait till 315 and then take like a position if we had like a bearish reaction from that 1 minute fair value gap above, or I don't know, something like that, like a 30-second inverse, probably anything just to get an entry. Crypto is finally coming down a bit. I'll probably start averaging into Bitcoin again when we get below 100K. My issue with Bitcoin right now, I actually saw this in a video yesterday, which is kind of an interesting, I guess, idea behind crypto. But the more and more centralized crypto becomes, no, I didn't crypto. The more and more centralized crypto becomes, the more and more risky of an asset it becomes, because the whole idea of crypto is that it's supposed to be decentralized from any market manipulation or just like literally anything that we struggle with fiat, right? Inflation, etc. But the problem is, as the US gains more and more control of it, and we create things like the strategic Bitcoin reserve or whatever it is, we run into the same problems that we had with gold, which back in the day, I don't know which president signed off on this, but one of the presidents basically said if you had gold, you had to forfeit it to the U.S. government. And so what will happen is crypto becomes more centralized within the U.S. government, is there will become more regulations. And the whole point and the whole value that crypto has is the fact that it's kind of unregulated and there's not too many limitations on it. And so as the US government becomes more intertwined with crypto, the more possibilities that they have for, seizing people's crypto or placing regulations on it, or, getting away from like the core principles that like Bitcoin was founded on, right? And so that's like my bear case, my black swan case for crypto right now that I would be monitoring is just like when we get a different president in office, or maybe even throughout the Trump presidency, we see more and more regulation on crypto. And I feel like that would probably be not great for it long term. But there's people in here that probably have way more experience with crypto than I do, so I guess tell me what you guys think about that whole idea. Also, we run into this problem where the U.S. government used to lie about uh, how much gold they had in their reserves. That was the reason why we got off the gold standard. The same thing could happen with crypto, where uh, it would be pretty easy to tell if they were lying, but like the U.S. government could make claims about how different holding companies that are under the U.S. government or whatever are, have Bitcoin, and they lie on their balance sheet about how much Bitcoin they actually have, and it will obviously pump people's bags in the short term, but in the long term, if they don't actually have that crypto there and they're lying about it, then it's not, I guess, as good for crypto as it perceived, right? You had 5 Bitcoin one time, Miramar. What happened to it? Sold it for sure. Can you imagine how much that would be worth today, JMOC? 50 to $5, and then hit a peak of 1340. So you had between 60 and like 4 Bitcoin back in 2012. That's crazy. And you sold it. Imagine if you had 60. 60 would be like a lot of money now. $7 million, something like that. Oh yeah, for sure. When you see it hit 10K that first time, there's no way you wouldn't cash it out. Like a good majority of it. The people that got really rich off Bitcoin were the people that bought it back in 2020, or the people that bought it in the very beginning and just forgot they had it. Those are the people that got rich off Bitcoin. 1 minute long, I'd probably go up the time frame here. There's definitely a gap that's better. Yeah, 4 5 minute. Yeah, I mean the 5 minute would be the best looking inverse here. We have an SMT at the low there, but overall, I actually don't really think 3 o'clock is going to do too much for us. We'll see in the first 15 minutes if we actually end up getting a good power hour here, but if not, that kind of makes sense too. I mean, EJ, I was doing like crypto presentations back in 2018, like in high school. I could have, been one of the people that actually held. Like I understood it, but like I don't know. I didn't have the foresight, I guess. I never would have thought Bitcoin would hit 100K, and here we are. Yeah, I know Nvidia's down nice. I really think that the bubble could burst soon, for AI. We're just not seeing as much. I feel like widespread application for regular people as needs to be like occurring for it to justify PE ratios of like 100x, or I feel like some of these AI companies have 1,000x PE ratios. Like that's just, I don't know. We're not seeing like Like, cool, okay, you can draw me a painting. Like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. But like, what about like the things that actually matter? I mean, I guess you know we have like better prediction modeling now. Um, but I feel like the majority of the money that's coming into crypto right now is basically made on like what ifs or like the potential for something to happen. Nothing's like actually being materialized as like, you know, we have cool like automation technology right now for certain workflows, for certain entry level jobs. I mean, what other mass like groundbreaking thing is justifying the resource intensity and the spending that you have to do for AI, other than replacing a few entry level jobs? I mean, obviously there will be things in the future, but like right now, because that's what's going to burst the bubble is the revenue's not keeping up with the projections, right? If we get to these earnings reports and the investors aren't seeing returns on their money, it's like, okay, what are we doing this for? And then you start running into regulation issues. Like as soon as we have like regulation, so that could be within like the next 2 years, because we could see like um, a flip in the House and Senate. So Democrats are more likely to regulate things. Um, if we start seeing regulation and we start seeing like missed revenue projections and all these other things, like that's when the bubble will probably burst. Oh no, for sure. Like long term, Frosty, I 100% believe this is like gonna be like the Industrial Revolution 2.0. But short term, you know, like predicting when the bubble pops is obviously, you know, what we're thinking about, right? Like if we go back and we look at the Nasdaq from the year 2000, right? Like we were very overextended from the dot com bubble, and then we had a 50% retracement, and it took us what 15 years to get back to our highs. No, 17 years to get back to the highs. I'm saying that could happen again. Maybe not to that grandiose of a move, but maybe we come back, you know, 16K or something, right? Because 72% of the stock market is like the top 7 companies or whatever it is right now. Like it's crazy how concentrated everything is into AI. And whenever you have all your eggs in one basket, as soon as some black swan event comes and hits that basket, everything kind of falls apart. I mean, all it would take is like a war with China, or regulation, or I don't know, like a bottleneck that comes up from like not having enough resources, right? Or we start seeing struggles with, I guess, like limitations on data centers, right? Where like we just can't get the tech out because of tariff issues, or there's an interruption in the supply chain, or you know, even something as simple as like environmental issues, where like we're just seeing too much, you know, whatever. I mean, there's so many ways that like things could stagnate. That like that's my concern for, I guess, AI right now. Also, like I could just be ignorant. Like maybe I just don't understand it well enough, and so like, um, you know, maybe like if I had a better understanding of every single, you know, I guess possibility with AI, you know, maybe I wouldn't have such like a short term bearish outlook on it. Like maybe we are going to realize things sooner than I imagine. So it's 321. We're not really seeing any moves here after we kind of came down and reswept this low. I guess maybe if we pumped up here, got the 5-minute inverse, you know, in this next candle, that would be good enough momentum. We would also want to see a 5-minute SMR here. Not really the greatest soup in the world, but I guess it would be like a soup on the 30-minute time frame. Animal that falls in love with a tape dispenser in a classic New Yorker cartoon. Language written in Devanagari script. Singer Presley or Costello. George Blank, Middlemarch author. Things read by fortune tellers. Leaves? Leaves? No. Palms too. Blind followers. Heavy item falling from the sky in some classic cartoons. Oh, I guess anvil. In a pickle or in a jam. Oh, piano would be good too. They might end with etc. I don't know. It's probably not anvil. Is it not Neko? What is this? This is probably palms. It's not Neko. What are some other ones? I think this is anvil. Yeah, we're getting this 5-minute here. What do we think? Is this good enough? 25-point stop. Nilla, thank you. That's what it is, Nilla. Wow, we're gonna get this 5-minute. I'm gonna take it, I think. Okay. Got the inverse there. I'm just taking it light. Nothing crazy. This seems pretty A+. This gap doesn't really tell us anything about order flow, but that was a lot of momentum. Yeah, for sure, Morik. We could respect this last 1-minute gap here, so we want to see this break. And then I think that'll just give us our break even. Maybe we put in another OB. But yeah, if we're going to put in power of 3 on the daily here, this long actually kind of makes sense. Yeah, let's go back. Handy. Snail. Oh, cool. One down sheep. Yep, yep. TP would be, I guess, maybe PM high here. Or maybe there's a better TP somewhere here. Maybe the 3-minute gap, TP1. It's not 1-to-1. So yeah, I guess we'll just target PM high. Three-minute didn't close yet. True. Yeah, I guess if that 3-minute doesn't close over, that wouldn't be the greatest thing in the world, but the 5-minute closed. I guess we should have waited for all the time frames here because we don't know order flow. Yeah, 2-minute needs to close too. So we need the 3, the 2, and the 1 to close. Hopefully that all happens at 3:30 here. And we get a OB on the 15-minute. That would be cool. If all time frames inversed, but it's against buy, is it a good trade? If it V shapes with like a lot of momentum, yes. And we've like swept out a lot of liquidity on the one side, yeah. When I say we don't know order flow, I mean like order flow is technically bearish, right? Like order flow on the higher time frames bearish. On the lower time frame, we haven't closed above all these time frames, so we don't know if order flow is truly bullish or if it was just the 5-minute inverse there. So we need to wait for all time frames to close above in order for us to feel confident about the order flow being truly bullish or seeing that order flow switch. So we got 24 more seconds. Hopefully that is what happens. Specifically, I'll be looking at the 3-minute to inverse here. The 1 minute, and I mean, the 2-minute and 3-minute will, I think, close at the same time. So, I mean, we can just watch the 3, but the 1 minute I don't really care about as much. So we don't close above there. If we get a nice little pump candle here before hitting that high, I'm probably just going to go break even because I don't want to see this pull back, especially since the 3-minute didn't really close above. No, so order flow is a component of bias. So right now bias is like pretty neutral, right? Because we don't have an established order flow right now. We're kind of inversing bearish PD race to the upside. We have bullish momentum, but we're higher time frame, like kind of bearish. So like because we're trying to fade the higher time frame bias because we swept out so much bearish or sell side liquidity, we have to wait for all the time frames to inverse in order to be confident that the order flow has switched bullish on the lower time frame as well. So we got the 1-minute inverse there. When we tap this high at 471, I'm going to go break even. We have an SMT at this high, actually. I just noticed. It shouldn't really matter. What makes order flow switch when we inverse all bearish PD rays on a dealing range to the upside or to the downside? Or we inverse a significant gap on the higher time frame. All right, we hit the high there on micros. We haven't quite hit it on NQ yet. Okay. I think we just hit it there. Yeah, we hit it there, so I'm going to go stop to break even. And we are going to try and hold for however high it can take us. Let's go. How many of you guys are in this, by the way? One. Okay, cool. Maybe we will take profit if ES hits like 64.35 here. Maybe we'll take one contract off or whatever. Or maybe we'll just get break even. No. Well, I got break even. All right, now it's going to go. Sorry, guys. I was busy. I was just punching a wall because we got break even, and this is going right back up. I should have waited for the the retrace. Yeah, the retrace entry there is going to work. If you're still in, hold for PMI. Nice, Rebel. Now we've came up and we've made another high. So if we come down and we hit our break even again, I'm cool with that. Three, Sohan. Yeah, so this isn't really accelerating how I'd want it to if this was like a true PO3 move. So, I guess we'll see, but I don't think this hits final TP. Alright, cool. It came back a second time. I'm very okay with getting break even now. It's just not meant to be. What are my thoughts on the equal lows at 23, 4, 26? Oh, these do not matter at all. They're not even equal. They're relative equal. The best equal lows are going to be ones that form at swing points, right? So something like this, where they're separated, and they're usually on the higher time frame. Ones that are like side by side like this are not very good. What's going on, Seb? Look at how nice this 5-minute play was, and it's just not going anywhere. Good. I mean, yeah, this stab's so low, it got to retrace, people to. So, Lord is Grace, we don't do any analysis on MNQ, just on NQ. So if it doesn't appear on this chart or on this ticker, NQU 2025, if they're equal lows on micros, it doesn't matter. Oh, for sure, EJ. I ever done Dodgy's mentorship? No. No, I never did Dodgy's mentorship. I am Dodgy's mentorship. Yeah, Murmar. Yeah, he went and did his own thing. I think he got inspired after he covered for PM Stream that one day, and then he just wanted to do his own thing from there. Why is everyone making their own Discords? I don't know. Vert is doing it for money. I literally fell into doing this Discord by happenstance. Leopard one day was like, dude, you seem cool. You seem like you know what you're doing. You should cover for me while I do this thing with the army. And so I did it with him for like a few weeks, right? And he paid me. And he's like, okay, we should go all start our own thing. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then they left this Discord and went and started their own thing, and PM opened up. And then I kind of like branched off from them. And then I was like, all right, well, Ryan, I guess if they're not doing PM anymore, if you want, I could take over it. And he's like, sure. People were asking, why are so many people making Discords? And like the thing is, everyone's always been making a Discord, but I just made a comment and they were like, why are they making it? I'm like, well, Vert's doing it for money. He said that straight up many times in here. I think that's the reason why everyone does it, right? For money. Obviously, like, it's an added benefit that I'm like trying to help you guys out and like, you know, help make you guys money, but that's just like virtue signaling. For now, they all say that. Do you still enjoy doing the PM sessions? Oh, for sure. No, I love hanging out with you guys. I would probably be involved in the Discord some way, even if I wasn't obviously in a position that I am, you know. Like, even back in the day before I was doing this, I was, like, I would say I was a pretty active member of the community. They created the word virtue signaling? Okay. Yeah, virtue signaling is just, let's see. Publicly expressing opinions or sentiments often on social media to demonstrate one's moral character or alignment with popular values rather than genuine conviction. It's frequently used pejoratively to suggest that the expression is more about appearing virtuous rather than actually supporting the cause itself. So me saying, oh yeah, I'm totally doing this because I love making you guys money. Like, yes, I like doing that. But the main reason is obviously, you know, the monetary benefit, right? If I were to say that the only reason why I'm doing PM is for that, it's virtue signaling. So you wouldn't do it for free? Oh yeah, I would do it for free. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it with the same frequency, but like, I would definitely hop in calls in the dungeon and, you know, just provide insight. That's what I used to do before I was even up here, you know. Maybe I would just do like free streams on YouTube or something like Patrick Whalen. The way I think about what you guys are doing and you know, you guys paying is it's like you guys are basically getting like a boost. Instead of having to go and learn all this on your own, you're getting like a jump start in your trading journey, right? I mean, courses are never like necessarily a bad investment, right? Unless the person that you're getting a course from is like truly like scamming and they have like no way to verify their agency, right? TGR is pretty good at what he does, Seb. Oh yeah, dude. When I saw that video of him basically creating like down cells using people's IP addresses, that's when I knew he was tapped in. I was like, okay, well. But that's kind of like, what video is that? Oh, it's just some dude that exposed him. He what he did is like depending on what country you were clicking on his links from, you would get redirected to a different product. Basically, he would downsell you if you were from a third world country, knowing that like it would be a waste of your time if he tried to sell you like an $100 course that you couldn't afford. Right? He would sell you like a $17 PDF or something. Well, I am certainly glad that we went break even. What two businesses have you owned, Seb? Okay, e-commerce, cool. What was the e-commerce for? Business to business or okay. 15-second inverse here looks kind of crazy, not gonna lie. Not taking it this late in the day. But yeah, this would be your confirmation setup for the 5-minute, I suppose. Oh, that's cool. For sure. Isn't Denmark like super expensive to live in because of the taxes? Like you have to pay like 150% on a car in order to buy it. I mean, at least you guys have good public transport, but I guess if I was a business person in Denmark, I would be buying a secondary residency somewhere else, like a tax haven, like Monaco or something, and just try and I don't know. I mean, for sure. Yeah, appreciate it, Ed. Yeah, I just want to be like transparent with you guys, you know. I don't want you guys to like sit here and think like, oh, you know. But yeah, for sure, like I could be doing way better with PM, for example. It's a business at the end of the day, right? But I'm just lazy. Dude, the even like I really want to get in on WAP before they go public because they're they're so like young minded, and they have a good idea of how the internet works, specifically for content creation. Their like creator thing that they're doing, where like they do like those like I guess campaigns, and people can like repost the content, and if it goes viral, they get paid. Like that's so genius. How does Discord even really like make money though? I mean, the premium service obviously, but like what ads do they have? Maybe like selling like maybe the Discord bots, they get commission from that. Discord bot sales, maybe like if you have like a bigger server. I mean, yeah, if that's their only like how is their business ever going to go public? There's not enough revenue. Yeah, I mean, clearly they sell data. I mean, I guess that's like obvious, right? I feel like that's weird though. Why would they sell data? I feel like you'd want to have like a private, like if you're making like a chat application, you want your, privacy kind of. Oh, true. Yeah, yeah, the game stuff. Yes. Okay. Yeah, maybe they sell info to governments and corporations. I guess that could be their main revenue service, and then the game stuff, and then the nitro and whatever. For sure. No said. No, just trading. Alrighty, guys. I think this is going to be it for me here. So you can see why going to break even there was probably the smarter play. You wouldn't want to be in all this drawdown after a bad reaction to us sweeping that internal high there. So sorry we got off track for the last 30 minutes, but price really wasn't doing a whole lot here. So on that note, I will catch all of you tomorrow. Oh, I'm probably not going to do a closeout song. Face cam. I don't know. I could technically do the face cam right now. I shared my face the one time I was over at my parents' house when I was having a power outage. Um, but yeah, I don't really think having a face cam on would having a face cam on add any value to the stream. Like, do you guys really want to see my face that bad? It's your birthday? Oh, happy birthday! I feel like it would just be a distraction. Okay, that's definitely a distraction. On that note, I'm out of here, guys. You guys have a good rest of your evening. Peace out.